Today, I taught Journey how to yield her hindquarters. So the first thing I did was when I got over to her, I gathered up my stick and string together like this, and then I gathered the rope in my hand. Next, with yielding the hindquarters, you want that back leg closest to you, the hind leg closest to you, to cross in front of the opposite leg. So here you could see that she took that step over there. Reward her with the stick. I don't want her to think that I'm ever going to hit her with the stick, so I reward her with it. Here, tapping the air. I'm not even tapping her. I am tapping the air to get her to move over. If she doesn't reply off of me tapping the air from the pressure there, then I'll give her a little tap on the butt. If she doesn't do that, I'm going to click to her a little bit and give her a little tap on the butt. And then usually she's very good at responding to just the air, but sometimes I do have to get a little click in there. But as you could see here, what I'm mainly doing is just trying to get her to learn how to cross that one leg over the other. Now I move on to the other side, and whatever you do on one side, expect nothing of the other. Horses have dominant and non-dominant sides. As for Journey, her dominant side is her right, her non-dominant side is her left. So usually, the things she does to the right, she's going to be better at. The things she does to the left, she's going to be a little weaker at. So I never expect, whether that's doing anything riding or on a lunge line or basically doing anything, I never expect her to see things the same out of her right eye as she does her left eye. Anything she does movement-wise from her left to her right, it's always going to be a little different just because she's weaker on that side. So you could see here, I asked her to take 2 steps over, and then I released the pressure. She was doing really good, so I asked and took that extra step. She gave me that extra step, released the pressure, give her the reward. Here, as I ask her to step around, she steps around nicely, but when I give her that release of pressure to stop, she does not stop moving those feet. I give her a little bump on the nose to be like, hey, pay attention, because I didn't want her to keep walking. I wasn't asking her to walk anymore. My body was upright. My body position and body language was not asking her to do anything anymore. My stick was rubbing her, not asking her to move around. So if she's still moving around, I'm going to give her a little bump on the nose to be like, that's not what I asked you to do. Pay attention. Lunging your horse is great. I love it. I like using the Clinton Anderson method. I know that method is controversial to some people, but that is my preferred method, and that is what I like to use. I use his training halter, his lunge line, and his stick and string. I like a lot of his products, and I like most of his training methods. So what I'm doing here is his yielding the hindquarters training method. I use most of his training methods on the lunge line. I like how he thinks, and I like how he approaches things. So what I did here was yielding her hindquarters, but when we first taught Journey how to lunge, when I first got her almost a year ago, she did not know how to lunge. She didn't really know what it was, but she picked up on it very quickly. So what I first started with was just pointing my finger up, clicking, and getting her to move off that pressure. Now, I can make another video on how to lunge a horse. Never, if your horse is brand new and you don't know what you're doing to the lunging and you don't know if your horse has ever been lunged, don't do it without a trainer. Some horses will react very strongly and very opinionated about their first time lunging. And being it would be their first time, you never know how they're going to react. And if you're not a trainer or if you are new to lunging yourself, get a trainer, because things can go south very quickly. And if you don't know how to react, it's not going to end very well. You don't have to use the same methods I use. You can use your own methods. I use a mix of a couple different methods. I mainly use the Clinton Anderson down under method. That is by far one of my favorites. But there are some few things that I do ever so slightly differently. So I do follow a lot of his stuff, but one thing I really like to do, and one thing I've really liked to teach a horse like Journey to do. So Journey is she tends to get ahead of herself and ahead of what I ask her. If I ask her to do one thing too many times, if I look like I'm gonna go ask her to do that same thing, she thinks I'm asking her to do it even though I'm not. So just for an example, when I'm lunging her and I'm setting her off in a circle, if I point my finger up, she thinks, oh, we're trotting. I don't even have to give a noise or anything. I just point my finger up. She thinks we're trotting. I don't know how much I love that. So I tried training her off of vocal cues, and I tried training her off of me and my body motions. Your body language has so much to do with everything in your teaching, especially when you're lunging. Your body language has so much to do with it. So what I like to do is I like to teach her how to walk on a lunge line. I know that is controversial to some people, but for me that is very important, because a horse like Journey, who thinks she is 5 steps ahead of you, even though she doesn't really know what you're asking of her, it's gonna be a little different. So I like to take that moment to really have her kind of take a step down, and I ask her to walk a little differently. And again, I will make another video if the interest is there. I will make another video about how I lunge her and what I do on the lunge line and stuff. But this is just specifically yielding the hindquarters in this video. But I'll make another one if the interest is there, and I'll talk more about it in that video. The rest of this video, though, is yielding her hindquarters. Here I was asking her to plant her front feet and only move around her hind. I didn't want her to move those front feet. I wanted her to just take that step with her hind leg going in front of the other one. I didn't want her moving the front feet. I just wanted her pivoting with her back. Also notice something with my body language here is when I am asking her to do something, I am looking what I want to happen. So because we're yielding her hindquarters here, I'm looking towards her hind end. When I ask, my body is leaning forward towards her hind end because that's what I'm looking for. My body is not in her front end, because if I step in front of her front end there, she's going to think to stop or to pivot on her front end and turn or something on her front end. And a couple times here, I did step in front of her and she did think to pivot on her front end or to stop or something. And I caught myself, that was my mistake, but you don't want to step in front of their front end or their drive line there. So you want to look what you're doing, where you're going and stuff. So that time I was looking for her to take 3 steps over with that hind end. I didn't want her to plant her front feet. I just wanted to see how many steps I could get her to step over consistently. And that is it for yielding the hindquarters today. Again, if the interest is there, I will make a video on lunging in general. If the interest is there, just let me know and the video will be made.